God, Allah, or whoever, just been in touch with something beyond me. So I haven't had yet the experience when I've been like, yes, it's undeniable anymore. And I'm not saying that I deny it. As I said, I actually am a spiritual person, so I do believe that there's more to life that we can perceive or find out. But I just currently cannot believe that there is one entity that has predicted and done anything, because it is so surreal and it's so insane that everything that has happened, that theoretically, yes, it could be one omnipotent being that we cannot comprehend as humans that did everything, but at the same time it could also just be so theoretically just a coincidence. So I haven't had the moment where I've been like, okay, the one omnipotent being has entered, like I've experienced the connection. I just haven't, but I'm not denying that it doesn't exist. This is important to me to understand, that I do not deny it. I just personally am looking for that because I want to have the experience, but I just haven't had it yet, even though I've been quite close.
Brother
to
Mansur, what's the things that the brother needs to consider to accept that as a reality, that there is a creator, that creator is one, and in fact that everything we see comes from that creator? What's that he needs to see? How?
I tried.
So when you consider that you don't actually deny the existence of an omnipotent being, because you're making this inference from looking at how things are in this world. For example, parents don't really create their children. They're just a means of bringing them in this reality.
You've told him everything. Why did you bring him here?
I was kidnapped by him. Let him go.
He's gone.
See, if parents were the ones to give us life, and if we died as children, they could be giving us life again and again and again. Every time we die, they give us life. But the fact that once children die, the parents can cry their hearts off. They cannot give life back to them. This demonstrates to us the parents did not have the ability to give life to the children. They were just a means within that process in which life is infused in the baby. The fact remains though, however, we do have life, and our life also departs from our body when we die. So how do we explain who the originator of our life is? We have to have a reasonable explanation that makes sense. Now, if you say it's the energy, then you are giving the energy certain attributes, certain characteristics of having the ability to give life with choice and will. Like willing, imagine if I have a phone on my pocket, right? It's got lots of battery in it, energy. But it can't decide to say, okay, tell Mansur to do this and that. It's not conscious. So energy to give us life and to take that life away has to be conscious, self-aware, and also have a will. If you say that this are something that the energy has, then it's no longer just simply energy. It's a being who is self-aware, and a being necessarily that will be always in existence, because you do accept that something has to always exist if we exist now. There cannot be a time when there was absolute nothingness.
I mean, yes.
Because if there was...
No, I mean, as in yes, as in like, there is a time of nothingness. It has always been.
If there was absolute nothingness at one point,
yes.
What we mean by nothingness is this nothing does not have anything. It's free from energy, free from potential of having any energy, free from any consciousness, free from having any laws, free from having anything.
I understand, but the thing is, like, since what you said, for example, that in the belief that God is omnipotent and all-powerful, right? So theoretically, if he is all-powerful, therefore there should be nothingness. Since nothingness is the absence of God as well, and of everything, as you said, of energy and anything. So if God is all powerful, all knowing, and
Nothingness is not a thing.
No, it is.
It's the absence of a thing.
Exactly.
So
If God is all powerful, then He can create nothing.
No, nothing is not a thing.
No, it is. It is.
How is that a thing? Tell me. What sort of properties does it have?
Well, the thing about
Define nothing.
What sort of properties does nothing have?
nothingness is the absence of anything.
Right.
Yes.
So it has no properties.
But the thing is, but still, and the absence of anything is still something. Since
No.
no.
Something is not
As
nothing,
long
and
as
nothing
you
is not something.
Well, I think that if you can concept something, if your mind can perceive something, even if your mind cannot perceive something, it still is something that exists.
No. We don't call it something.
For example, let's take, for example,
It's no thing.
like for example, let's take the James Webb telescope right now, right?
Okay.
We have perceived, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, we actually found galaxies that are so old that it contradicts all modern science of the Big Bang, right? We have found galaxies that are billions of years old. So we found something when we thought there should not be something. In nothingness, we found something. So nothingness had something. So it is an object that we couldn't perceive before.
Science is never expecting nothingness.
Well, it does. You need nothing. Well, you need
Because nothingness is devoid of any
you need a
properties.
negative to
It doesn't
find the
simply
positive.
exist.
No, you need a negative.
Nothingness
to
is
find
non-existence.
Yes, but my point is that nothingness.
How can you create non-existence? And it's not a sensible way of in speaking.
My point is that nothingness in its nothingness is nothing. Absolutely right. But the concept of nothingness gives it a thing. So
This is where I don't follow it. I'll tell you the reason why.
That's fine.
Because we understand what something is, and we are saying opposite to that something is nothing, which is absolutely no thing. Something and no thing.
Yes.
That no thing has no existence.
exactly. But the thing is,
So when you say God is powerful enough to create non-existence, non-existence is not a thing to create in the first place.
But that's my point. That we as humans cannot perceive nothingness, but something that is omnipotent, almighty, all-knowing, as we agree that God is, right?
No,
should
conceptually,
be-
you can
should be-
understand
should-
that.
Yes, but it should be.
That is no. This is where we agree. Conceptually,
Yes.
there is a no thing called nothing
Yes.
to make us appreciate, understand what is a thing or something. My point is this: there cannot be a time where there is no thing, because from no thing, nothing will emerge. No thing will emerge.
Can you
Nothing
get
will
something
come
from nothing?
Something will never come out of nothing.
That's my point. If God is almighty and all-knowing, He can or
No, so
can create
God
from
is not.
nothing.
We're
so
talking
God,
about-
I agree. No, I agree. So God can create from nothing is what we accept. Because Allah
Yes.
says in the Quran,
Yeah, exactly.
Allah created this universe from nothing.
Exactly.
He simply wills it into existence.
Yeah, but
So I
right
think
now you said that nothing doesn't exist.
No.
So
Nothing is
I think you're on cross.
maybe.
Probably.
What Brother Mansur is saying is that you can't conceptualize an existence where there is nothing. There has to be something in existence always.
Yeah, I understand, but as
So hold on a second.
So he
Now the
expressed
issue
himself
is,
as his believer to
what
intensity.
is this something
Take them forward from that.
that has to exist
This
by
is
necessity?
what we're trying, inshallah.
In other words, you can never conceptualize an existence where there is just nothing out there.
well,
Actually, my point was, thank you, brother, for clarification. You see, you're already assuming God there. I'm saying,
Yes.
in the absence of a concept of a God, if somebody says there was no thing, nothing, from that nothing, you will never get something. So that means if we have something now, there has to be always something. And we say that always something is actually the originator of everything.
The necessary
We call
existence.
God.
yes, but by that logic, then God is not all powerful,
Why he's not all powerful?
because you're saying that God is the
He was
way
always
of-
there.
Yeah, exactly. So
What's the definition of all powerful?
all powerful. It was the what did you
What's
say?
the definition of that?
Well, the all powerful means that like all powerful that he can do
Anything.
Anything.
Okay. So we accept that. We accept that.
Yeah, exactly. But by saying he cannot be created out of nothing, since he has always been there,
No, he's
you
not-
already are limiting
he
him
is
by
not-
not
he's-
existing in nothingness.
He is not being created. The fact that we are here, something,
exists. So that's
he has to always exist is the point.
No. But the
Yeah, but you said that in nothingness, nothing exists, right?
brother, you're missing the point. The point is,
Okay, maybe I am.
if something has to come into existence,
Yes.
then it's deficient. It's not all powerful. If something always exists by necessity, then it's all powerful.
It will
It's
have
not-
the qualities.
and it's not limited. You see my point?
No beginning. No
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah.
It's okay.
Has no beginning.
Now,
God
now
has
fundamentally,
no
fundamentally, the issue here is this. I think please correct me if I'm wrong, but you do acknowledge this concept that there is a necessary existence that underpins everything else.
Yeah, there has to be a start.
There has to be,
Yeah, of
okay.
course. Yeah.
Now the issue is, how do we define what this thing is?
Yeah, exactly.
What are the qualities
What are the
and
qualities?
characteristics
So, Brother
or
Mansur,
properties or attributes of that necessary existence?
Yes.
Yeah. If you somehow think it's just energy, then it doesn't really give us a convincing answer, because you have to make that energy conscious, having the will and so on, and eventually you actually merge with the qualities of God. So instead of saying it's God, why do people then say it's just energy and some kind of spirituality and so on? We are saying, to explain our universe and our existence and everything that is operational within this cosmos, it is reasonable to conclude that there is a creator who originated everything. That creator is self-aware, of course. That creator has lots of attributes of perfection, no deficiencies whatsoever. All perfect attributes. Like, for example, knowledge and power, there will be no limits and deficiencies. There will be no bounds. So that's what we're saying. So when you want to know about God, your heart and your mind should be directing to this concept in which the creator should be free from deficiencies in the attributes. And what we are inviting you to is Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth, who is exactly that, the most perfect being, who is not in any way deficient in his names and attributes. The absolute perfection belongs to him. So when we say he is merciful, no one can be more merciful than him. When I say him, or I'm not talking about him. Yeah, you understand that,
All
right?
hearing, all knowing.
Yeah.
So when we want to follow and submit and surrender ourselves, how much time have you got left?
like 2 more minutes, my
2
friend.
minutes.
I'm sorry. I'm not here.
Islam simply encourage us to wake up to this reality that we should be submitting ourselves and surrendering our will willingly, sincerely, to the will of one true God, as he has sent his prophets and messengers with, to submit to him.
Which is
Who is the last prophet and messenger that he sent? Prophet Muhammad.
I was so nervous right now.
So it's so easy.
I got it wrong.
All we have to do, my friend, all we have to do is make that choice willingly to submit to God, to his will that is expressed through the will by sending prophets and messenger. The prophet has demonstrated what the will of God is.
Can I just for 5 minutes? Because I'll
Yeah.
just take 5 more minutes. I have just a different question. Okay. So I'm part of, well, since I grew up in Germany, I grew up in a Christian society, which is obviously different to a Muslim society. I'm part of a very small group of Templar Knights, theoretically. It's more of like a order of trying to get the understanding of modern religion and ancient religion correlates with science. So basically, what we think is important to understand nowadays is that modern religion is diverted throughout the years to ancient religion. So for example, that back then, the ancient religion, if you take it from back then and you put it into our time now, religion is a base stone for the modern society. So for example, people from an Islamic country will understand somebody from another Islamic country on a cultural level, since they can both find a way to interact with each other through Islam, right? For example, how the German Christian can find a way to interact with a French person, since our culture, the base stone of our culture and our society is rooted in Christianity. The same is with Islam. So my question basically is, do you think that modern religion is rooted in the idea, or like, you know, would you also agree, let's rephrase it, would you also agree that religion currently, with our new technology, our science, etc., is more of just a base stone of our cultures and not a belief system that should rival, for example, science? So that you subtract that science is fact.
In Islam, you know, it's very clearly in the Quran. It says, Allah says that we perfected your religion. Yeah.
Yes,
There's
yes,
nothing in Islam. There is nothing to add, nothing to take off.
That's fine. What I'm
Can I make it very simple for you?
Yeah.
We've already agreed that the concept of a necessary existence
Yes.
is very reasonable.
Yes.
Now the question arises, did this necessary existence try to communicate with me? How can I establish that through objective evidence and reasons? When we look at the Quran, we find that there is no other explanation other than the claim that the claimant is making, Allah, this is a miracle from your Lord, and it could not be any other way.
That's fine.
Now, let me just...
But that's not what I mean.
No, but hold on a second.
Okay, sorry.
So every other belief system, this concept of modern religion and it's come about this way or what, none of that matters if you can establish that the Quran is indeed as it claims to be from the Creator, because then that becomes your paradigm, your reality, your explanation on everything.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Including Templar beliefs or anything else for that matter.
Absolutely, I understand.
Now,
but-
when we look at the Quran,
yeah,
and we look at the linguistic miracles of the Quran, we look at all of the other miracles of the Quran and it claiming to be a miracle,
yes,
we come to an objective reason to accept it to be from that Creator.
yeah.
And so when people say to me, but isn't religion something that people have just done this to, or people have just thought this of, or people have modern religion, it's because of social... Well, that's one explanation. But the other explanation could be very simple. The other explanation could be that it is a revelation from God, and man has found commonality all around the world to be attracted to this message that's come from the Creator. And that's the other explanation, right?
Yeah. Just to add to the question that you asked.
Yeah, okay.
In Islam, broadly speaking, there are like three broad categories of religion. One is the God-sent religion, which is God-sanctioned religion. He sent prophets and messengers. One is totally man-made by their own self, working out how to live their life, how to understand the reality and so on.
Moral.
And the other one is in between. He was originally sent by God, but they got corrupted with man's ideas, women's ideas, and so on and so forth, right? Islam says, from the very beginning, human beings were created. There was only one acceptable religion to God, and that is the religion of submission to God. As time went by, people tried to corrupt and confuse and change and alter this religion. God sent prophets and messengers again and so on to bring them back to the same religion. So Islam is not the only new religion now.
Right.
It's the first and the most foremost religion that God sent
From Adam.
initially, and now it's the finalized in its perfection and culmination and continuation of the prophets and messengers' message,
From a prophet
right?
Adam,
From
first
God.
man.
So what we're saying is, to summarize then, all these modern religions is either could be people's own efforts in trying to understand how we should understand God and reality and so on and so forth, with or without some aspects of existing divine religion of the past. What Brother Abass is saying, we should focus on pristine, adulterated message of God, His religion which is pure, not man corrupted or adulterated or changed. And the Quran offers you some of the ways you can assert and convince yourself that this indeed is the case. You don't have to go and think about all these hundreds and thousands of modern religions, because Islam, even though it's the same religion God sent before, it still is modern in its application today, and it will be modern in the future in its application. Why? Because it is universal in its approach. It approaches human being in their psyche and their needs, and it caters for them now, before, and in the future, at all places, at all times.
And that's good, and I think it's amazing that, as I said, that people have found it for themselves to believe. I personally, as I said, I've just never had that yet moment, you know what? But I respect it a lot.
Do look into it.
Don't forget, Peter Vogel.
Yeah, Peter Vogel.
I would go to Sapiens.
Unfortunately,
No problem, you're going to go.
Yeah.
But I'd go to Sapiens, the website, sapiens.org, is that right? They've got very, very good articles on there about the miracles of the Quran. In particular, they go through a 90-minute article on the shortest surah of the Quran, which is Al-Kawthar.
okay, I'll look into it, but unfortunately,
Look into it. No problem.
Can I say one more thing, just real quick? I think you're recording that, right? So, inform yourself about all religions. It's important to understand and be open to any other form of religion, even if you don't agree. Be respectful. It doesn't matter what religion you are. Be respectful of prophets, gods, and believe. Please do.
That's our card. Email us.
much.
We'll send you free information out.
Thank you very much.
Nice to
It was
meet you.
very nice meeting you
Nice
all.
to meet you.
Remind me your
Thank
name was Queen?
Kiernan.
Kiernan.
Yes, thank you.
Nice meeting you,
It was
Queen.
nice to meet you all.
Yeah, it's fine. I think
Pleasure
you are
speaking to
very
you.
close to the truth, but you have to be just willing to accept it, no matter about what you feel, and secondly, to read more about this.
Thank you. That's
so
all.
I can-
Knowledge is
Yeah.
power. Knowledge is power.
Well, thank you very much. It was very
nice
nice
to meet
meeting
you.
you.
Take care.
Flying tomorrow to Germany, or?
Yeah, we're flying tomorrow morning to Germany, and unfortunately, I'll be, well, fortunately for me, but I'm going to move to Japan in 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So
You speak Japanese?
a little bit.
Okay.
Not much. That's what I'm going to learn.
Okay,
So
nice.
I won't be around anytime. But
Email us.
thank you very
Continue
much.
your journey. Spend more time
Yes.
on this conversation
Yes.
than the mobile phone you're going to buy or the Japanese you're going to learn.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
that will help you for a few years. Inshallah ta'ala, this will help you for all eternity.
thank you very much.
Yes?
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
It was very
All the
nice
best.
meeting
All
you
the best.
Thank
You
you
take
very
care.
much.
Look after yourself.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm